Hello, I'm Rich Watts, and you're currently listening to the Manda Runners podcast with Simon and Rob.
Thanks, Rich. Obviously, you're here with us now as a free piece. We thought you're too special. We don't really need to have a chat and then dig you on later. So you're here with us right now. How you been, Rich? How you been, man?
How I've been? Well, that's $1 million question, isn't it? I've been up, been down, been left, been right.
Okay, let's just talk about. Okay, so it's last I don't know, a couple of weeks. So we are what is it? 18th of March today. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've done roadmap. We've done kids back to school. Do you have kids?
Yes, two. Well, then okay, yeah, almost adult, but yeah, I've got one kid that's in college and one that's just about to start their GCSEs, but then they both went back 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is the college kid like a vet or something? So they've got to go back and play with the animals because you you have to fulfil certain criteria, don't you? If you have to play with things or build something, you have to.
No. So she does French mainly. But they had lateral float testing, so they can all go back in anyway in their bubbles. And her college courses have anywhere up to just 10 people in the course, so they can space them out easily anyway.
Nice.
Okay, and the other
Right,
kid?
your hair then.
Yeah, and the other one's at secondary school, just about to finish year 8, and then start his GCSEs. Hoping to do history, music.
So have you had to homeschool? Sorry, that's chap, is it?
Yes,
Yes.
Riley.
That's a chap.
Boy child.
You've had to homeschool.
I haven't. No, they're quite self-sufficient because my daughter's almost 18, and my son is almost 13. They just get on with it. I don't have to do anything. The only thing they've been doing is sucking the life out of my internet. So
sucking the life out of the.
Okay. BBC Bite Size again.
Bye.
No.
I'm watching my Marvel films.
What about you, Callum? What have you been up to last couple of weeks?
More of this.
What do you mean more of this?
I'm trying to move house. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to look after you. Those things together fill up most of my time. And looking after a puppy is obviously as well. But I won't bring him on the screen because you'll get very cross. Everything's ticking over, isn't it? Running, eating green things, and trying to box my life up.
I mean, it's getting a bit serious out there now. You see on the Thorntons, you know Thorntons? They've gone now.
What's the Thorntons, though?
Oh, the chocolate company?
Yeah, they've gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's their own fault because, like, if you're a proper person who loves, like, your family and your wife and whatever, you'd go to Hotel Chocolat, wouldn't you? Any self-respecting person with a view of an occasion would go there. And if you don't, you just go and buy the cheapo dairy milk when it's on offer.
What's a Thorntons?
So what's Thorntons? Maybe I want a chocolate Santa now and again. I'm not buying it unless
Are
it's
they
knocked
the- are
down.
they the
I'll
guy-
wait till New Year.
Are they the guys with the bunny? The Thorntons?
Yeah. I think they've got a bunny. They've got various figures. It's like, guys,
Lint is the
can't
bunny.
have bad niche
There you
for
go.
yourselves
Dave,
here.
Rich told you it's the bunnies from
Lint.
Lint. I like
Yeah,
Lint.
yeah.
I like the red ones.
Well,
The little round
Thorntons
balls.
have completely fucked it then, haven't they? Not to be glib, but they didn't stand a chance.
Chocolatist.
It's like Debenhams. It's like, what's the point in Debenhams? I've got John Lewis or I've got Wilco's.
So hang on. So for your family, it's not Debenhams. It's John Lewis, but they're going down as well. They're going under.
No, they're just cutting back. It's all online these days, isn't it? It's the computer. We should know.
Oh.
Sorry for anyone listening that
Anyway,
works.
enough about the business prospects of the high street. That is a totally different podcast.
Right, so Rob, you're boxing up your house.
Yeah,
Right? You've done
I'm
you've done a
moving
real 180, haven't you? Really, you've stopped the drinking, right? You've bought a house. You've exchanged on the house. You're moving in a couple of weeks.
Now, but it's a building site. Yeah.
It's not a house.
I appreciate you, Tracy.
Right, and then so you've been packing, and you told me briefly. You got to tell Rich this. What are you unearthed in when you've been packing?
Oh my goodness! So as well as like packing is brilliant because it's cathartic, and like obviously having lost a fair bit of weight, I've been able to like do a little mini fashion show every night, like trying on clothes that I haven't been able to wear for 5 years, and I fit back into them. I actually fit into like one of the race shirts someone like gave me once for finishing an event. But the rest of the stuff's going to charity, like my old fatter clothes. But what I unearthed, like what's just brilliant about it is, as long with all the school reports and the tat, is you find these things that you like played with as kids or whatever. So when I was 11 or 12, and you can absolutely imagine this. Chime in if you know them. Does anyone remember Pokemon here?
I still play it.
Got to
You
catch
still
them all?
play it,
Yeah.
Rich still plays
Yeah,
it.
boy.
Oh God, no.
So what are we playing, Rich? Are we get the Game Boy or are we in
Switch.
like more modern Switch? Oh, he's
Yeah, on
got
the Switch. Yeah.
yeah,
He's got a
boy.
Switch. That's
Poke-
like new, isn't it? Switch.
I
Yeah.
know.
I
Oh,
love the Switch.
but
Portable
Rob,
gaming on the go.
you're talking about cards, aren't you?
Yeah,
There's no
so Rich,
games
did you
here.
ever
They're
play
just
the
like
Pokemon trading card
I
game?
didn't play it. I
Play
used to
it.
collect them.
Oh, do you still collect them?
I don't still collect them.
Or
No,
have
no.
you still got any?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I wish I did because
Oh
the amount
man.
of you see online of the people, Simon's just dying in the corner.
right. Obviously, yeah.
He's dying because he hasn't got any Pokemon. But
This to me sounds so pathetic.
You're the pathetic one, mate.
Yeah.
You ain't got any. So what I found was I'd collected, I'm the guy that never looks after anything. I've lost 5 passports since I became an adult, and that's only like 12 years.
The only piece of paper that shows you exist is your provisional license.
yeah, and a birth certificate that's got T on it. But I found when I was packing that when like all the stuff when I was 11 and 12, I kind of boxed it all up and was like, oh, it's a bit too geeky now. I'm going to get even more bullied if I turn into a teenager and I'm still playing Pokemon. So, no offense, Rich, but I have this pristine album of Pokemon cards, and I've got like almost a full set of like the really old ones. So all the new kids on the block now who want to go back and get those ones, they can't buy them for love or money.
Yeah.
Which means if you've got anything in any kind of, the price has absolutely escalated because they're basically pseudo antiques. I and everyone when I was remembering because I went out on a run last night. What a surprise! That's what the podcast's about. But I went on a run and I ran down the street where I used to go and play with my mates. We used to go around on our bikes and we used to think we were the absolute boys.
So you went and took cards out on your bikes.
We had little decks to like hold them in, like little packets, and then we went down and played in the basement of a WH Smith in the Pokemon League every Saturday after football training.
No, stop. What do you mean? You wait. Hang on. Are these like top trumps or what?
Basically, it's a really complicated version of Top
God,
Trump.
it's complicated.
But no, but it's just a different kind of the same illness that we got now. So every Saturday, instead of running around 5-kilometre circles, I was going down to WH Smith's, and it's really satisfying. No, because we need like our medals, but used to get a medal at the end of every month. I've got enough stamps. You meet a new friend, you get a stamp. You trade a card with a friend, you get a stamp. You win a game, stamp.
Rich, you're not laughing much. Is this normal to you then?
What card? That sort of
This
thing.
Pokemon
Not
bollocks.
not as because I did collect some of the cards, but I was more into the games. So I had the Game Boy to start with, and I played the games.
All right,
Because
so,
I like
Rob,
role-playing games.
you're with the weirdos playing Pokemon in the basement WH Smith, right?
Yeah.
I never went into any basements though.
Nah.
But being a geek pays, right? So to Rich's point, I found out this is the only reason I dug it out properly and had a really good look. I found out just through Instagram or some rubbish that someone like one of these influencers was trying to collect them all, and like they were paying stupid sums of money, like for some of these cards because they're basically collector's items.
If you go
Like,
on
literally.
YouTube, there are people who buy boxes and open them up on YouTube
Yeah.
live.
I
to see
think
if
I've
they
seen
get any
that.
shinies.
Right, stop it. Right, come on.
It's a bit
No,
like
they
it's
are.
almost like collecting the old Premier League stickers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I've seen like don't people like collect like dolls and stuff but never unbox them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of Punkos like that.
I've still got an Ian Wright bobblehead from the 1990s that I never got out of the box.
What, out of
That's
the
worth £15.
Is that out of the Kellogg's Rice Krispies coupon thing or something?
No, I bought it from like a corner shop in
He bought it.
1993.
He bought it.
Mum bought it for me, but but like right. So here, like, who's laughing now? Little geeky fat kid in the corner who looked after his Pokemon cards. So this morning I agreed the sale after auction of my shiny holographic first edition Charizard PSA 8 out of 10 quality £375
No,
for
no.
a piece of paper.
No, you didn't. There's somebody out there who's bought a piece of paper for £375.
I had to run to the post office at lunchtime and send that recorded delivery.
Run to the post
signed
office.
For. Yeah, along with like Band of Runners kit. So now I've got 2 things I'm outsourced. Mate, this week I've sold 7 bits of paper. I've been given on PayPal £1,000.
Yeah.
There's lots more paper.
You've made more
So
money
anyone
out.
out
You've
there
made.
listening, if you want to catch them all, I'm your man.
You made more money out of Pokemon cards than you have Band of Runners merch.
Yeah, when I move house, these things are going to buy me a sofa. It's brilliant.
Oh.
I just know because they're just sat in a cupboard. I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely.
Okay.
I think it's stupid.
Stop this shit. Has anyone done any sort of anything relevant last 2 weeks, like running wise, which is what this is about? Rich, one of the reasons
2.5 miles before we came on here.
Oh, well, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on, Rich, is that we've been following you on your Facebook, and you've decided, I think, to run a marathon a week. Or you did?
Of sorts. I want to do 52 virtual or attended marathons in 52 weeks this year.
Why?
At the moment, obviously, all virtual, but I've got some attended coming up in April, thankfully, because virtual ones are not fun. But they are, but they get to a point where you are wishing that there are people around you.
When you're doing the virtuals, are you entering the event virtual thing and then getting a medal or whatever? Or is it
No. So I'm literally just logging it down, and then I'm going to submit them all, because it's one of Rick's global marathon challenges, so I hope to get because originally the global marathon challenges were just all attended, but because of Corona, he now has he has them all, but you can do them as virtuals as well, and that's a different ribbon that you get with it.
Okay. I mean, it's a tough chat. I think you've got this, Rob, haven't you? You've done 52 and 52.
Yeah. I finished it at the start of Corona, so that was on the treadmill, doing marathons. But I know you've done. We've all actually done a treadmill marathon, but you did do one virtual thing. This is what caught my eye, Rich. I know, obviously, we all became good mates back in the 10 in 10 days, which we'll chat about. But you did something, a Wolfpack 100, and this is something I've never done. Okay, obviously Simon may have done 50 milers, but you did 2 solo marathons in one day, right? So you went out in the morning, you did one. God, what was that like, doing that mostly on your own? Yeah,
absolutely horrible. The original plan was to do all 100k in one day. So the Wolfpack 100 was to do 100 kilometers over 48 hours. The original plan was to do it in one day. So I set out at 6 o'clock in the morning. I actually had people with me for the first half marathon. The 2 of my best running friends I run with normally, lunchtimes and evenings. And then the second half of the first marathon wasn't so bad, because I'm used to doing a marathon now on my own. But then stopping my watch and then starting it again, the second half was brutal.
So is this all in one then, Rich? Did you do the 26.2, stop the watch, save that one, and then literally just click it back on again?
Click it back on again, and then do another 26.2. And then I was going to stop the watch and do 10 miles, and then that's the 100k all in one day.
Okay,
yeah. I got to 26.2. It was about 8:30 in the evening. I went, I'm done. I am done. I'm going to go home, have a bath, get up, and then do the last 10 miles in the morning.
Quite an effort, though.
Oh, do you know, my feet were absolute messed.
What were you doing? Were you running around the streets of wherever you're based?
In Aldershot, yeah. So we did the first marathon. For the first half of it, we had a route planned out, and then for the second half, I ran around the streets. And then for the second marathon, I literally did an out and back. So it was out 1k, back 1k, and I did that.
So I've done a few of those lockdown runs, but actually, I mean, doing the out and back 1k, okay, it sounds horrific.
Yeah,
but you've got stuff at the start, haven't you?
I was able to count down, and I had my home as my base camp.
Yeah,
so I was able to go home. I'll get a drink quickly, run back out, come back.
See, I think a lot of people, like Rob just did there, he just goes, "Oh God, no!" But actually, there's a lot of advantages to it.
And obviously, because of Phoenix, you used to go out and backs, right? So
I know, but in the, like when it's what it is, Rich, and obviously
Yeah.
you did so well to take such a massive bite out of it on day one. But there had to have been times where you thought, I could always just do the second like 40, the last 40K tomorrow, and I could stop now, have tea and a bath. That never entered
Yeah,
your mind?
it did. And I did think about that, but I had also thoughts of seeing myself get up on Sunday and going, nope, not doing it anymore, and quitting.
Yeah,
Because although I'm quite good at grinding stuff out, sometimes my mind doesn't let me do stuff I want to do. And I was afraid that I'd wake up Sunday morning with a marathon to do and go, I don't want to do this, and then
yeah,
quit. I
yeah.
don't like quitting. I don't like it. Um,
I know.
but yeah, and like the fight of your head. If sometimes your head can win, and I hate that. So I thought the more I can do Saturday, the less I have to do Sunday. And actually, Sunday turned out to be a 10-mile walk in the end because my feet were sore and my legs were sore, and
Good boy.
just getting out, getting it done,
That's a
getting
brilliant
home,
effort.
and then not
Yeah.
moving for quite a while.
I think that's yeah, we'll go on to what your plans are, but I think that'll help you some of the stuff you got lined up.
Yeah, I think
A
hopefully
professional
like the
assessment.
100 milers.
I mean,
Yeah.
what's the because that's pretty nuts, Rich. I've never done. I've never done so like a marathon in the morning, then a marathon in the afternoon. I've done the distance that you have, obviously, in one day, but I've not stopped the watch and then gone. Let's just start again. That must be so demoralising when you do that.
It was, yeah, when you see it go back to zero again, and then you're trying to get your kilometers back up. Because normally I don't know how you do a marathon, but when I do a marathon, I break it down to 10Ks, and by the time I get to 30K, everything starts hurting a bit, and you've got a 10K to go, and then you've got the final 2K, right? So you get to then 42K, and then turn it off, turn it on, and like,
Mm.
right, 42K to go.
Are you kilometres rather than miles then?
I've always been in kilometers ever since
Good
I started
man.
running, because
Love
I
it.
did 5Ks. You see, when I started
Ah,
off, I
yeah.
did 5K, and then I went to 10K, and then I just couldn't say I want to do 10 miles. I end up saying 16K, or I will say a half marathon and a marathon, but I always use my watch in kilometers because it's just they go up quicker.
My boy.
Can I ask a
That's
question,
it.
Rich? So you gave us your spreadsheet earlier today, right?
Yeah.
And we've had a good old look through this, and it's not laid out like I'd normally see what we get on.
I didn't know how to lay it out. I don't usually do
Yeah.
spreadsheets.
Okay. So you've laid it out, right? So the first sort of, hang on a second here. So the first 9 marathons. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in between, halves and all sorts of stuff, all events. But the title of this first 9, it's almost, this reads like a book rather than a sheet. So it's when it got serious. So your first marathon was Bournemouth Marathon, 2nd of October 2016. I love that. I love that marathon. I've only done it once, and now it's not coming back again, which is a bit of a shame. But
You didn't think you were ever going to do another
I
one
wanted
again
to
after
return
that?
to it again.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
wanted to do either my 50th or my 100 there to try and beat the time that I got.
okay.
But I was gutted that they're not bringing it back.
So why Bournemouth? Why then? What happened?
Do you know what? I just picked a marathon in October, and it just happened to be Bournemouth, and I knew that Bournemouth isn't too far from me, so my wife can drive me down there and then park down the finish line, because Bournemouth Marathon is not exactly a start and finish place. It's you start at the top and
Yeah,
you
it's
work your way down
point
the
to
coast.
point, really.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And I thought it'd just be easy to get to. It's on the coast, so I get to see the sea. Didn't realise how hot it was going to be, because that was a bit of a killer as
It's
well.
always hot. It was always hot. Yeah, it was hot by the
Yeah.
year I
For
did it.
October, yeah.
You think October shouldn't be too hot, but obviously it is coastal, so because the same happened in Brighton as well a bit later on. But so I started off all right. The first sort of 10K, I set off my own little pace. It's the only marathon I've ever been overtaken by a bunch of Vikings holding a longboat, which was this. I always remember that. I'll hear the voices behind me with a hoo 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 hoo. I turned around.
But I just tell myself they're all 3-hour marathon runners on another day. But Rich, like for your first marathon, I think 5 hours just over is pretty good time. Were you happy with it?
I was aiming for sub 5 because that was the way I was going. But because the heat messed me up, and also
Not an easy course.
it's not an easy course, and the training. I think I trained for it, but it was that point I ran it, and I realised when you do a training for a marathon, if you want to do one marathon, you train for it seriously, go longer than 20 miles. because as soon as I hit 21 miles, I was done. That last 6 miles of a marathon.
That's interesting, Rich. Actually, so because a lot of people you talk to, maybe I'm going back a few years, but they would say things like, "Oh, the last 6 miles, don't worry, the crowd will pull you through."
They don't.
They don't.
Especially if you take as long as I did. There was hardly anyone there. So that's always the if you're quick enough. So if you do like 3-hour, 4-hour marathons, the crowd will be there to pull you through it. But by 5 hours at Bournemouth, people were starting to go home, or they're going to the chip shop, or they're getting ice cream. So there wasn't that many people out there. And even if the crowd are cheering you on, all you want to do is tell them to shut up because you're in pain and you just want to get to the finish line.
I love that one as well. When people say
the other extreme.
There's only 5k left. You come and do it then, mate.
Yeah.
The other extreme is I get cheered on by the sweepers because they're like, I want to clear up the road, mate. Can you get a move on? There's a bus behind me when I was in Rome. Hop on, Faye. I think that's a really decent time, but that's guttingly close. So, but even though you've put in your sheet, vowed you'd never go back or never do another one.
I crossed the line.
I've got to beat 5 hours, right?
I think what also didn't help was that marathon, you go past the finish line and you have to then carry on down the coast, turn around and come back again, which really bad because you go over the finish line.
And you hear them as well, don't you? You hear the MC or whatever. Oh, and this so and so from so and so is just finishing crossing the line. Yeah, not me, mate.
That's also the same in Brighton. Yeah, thanks, mate. I've still got 30 more miles to go. Thanks. But yeah, and then I sat down on the bench. I had a little cry because it was like, I've done a marathon. I can't believe it. And then as I got up, I hobbled to find my wife and I went, no, I can't do that again. Yeah, that was too much. I'll stick to the smaller distances.
But then,
which I didn't do.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Well, because then the next thing you do, there's a lot of... Okay, look, there's a couple of halves here. There's some 10 miles, right? But then quite literally, 7 months later... something in your head has gone, right, I'm going to run 5 marathons. I'll list them out here. Manchester, not done. Brighton have done, yeah, right. Chockerthon, which is an SVN one, so it could have been anywhere. But yeah, Southampton and Three Forts. Three Forts, for somebody who's not done it, is mental. That's not a marathon. It's 27
really
miles. It's nicknamed the tough one. I did it, might have been the same year, Rich, actually. And... I didn't make it home without a stop off at my grandfather's house to pass out on the floor and almost be sick. So you did these...
Baby.
Yeah, baby. So you did these in April, 1 a week. 5 marathons, once a week.
Why, Rich?
Why? So I got to Christmas time at the end of 2016 and my grandparents weren't doing so well because they've got Alzheimer's. And I wanted to start raising awareness for Alzheimer's, and I thought, what better than to do another marathon? But I thought, well, I've done 1 marathon. People aren't going to sponsor me for 1 marathon. This is what goes in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't I do 5? I'll do 5 in 5 weeks. And I contacted Alzheimer's, and they said, that's a brilliant idea. And so like Manchester, Brighton, Southampton, they actually got me reduced fees. So I was able to go in under their charity.
Yeah.
Chockerthon I was able to get anyway because it's obviously SVN, and the Three Forts I needed one for the end of April, and I saw that and I thought, yeah, I'll just do it. I didn't actually read what it was entailing until I had done the Chockerthon marathon, and I thought I'd better just check Three Forts, and I realised they showed me the graph of all the hills in it.
Yeah. So what it is, it's South Downs Way basically. There's
pretty much
there's three insane inclines. Oh
yeah, I still remember one of them now. It's still in my memory. And it was really tough. I think it took me about 6.5 hours.
Okay.
And I think I was like the second to last person to finish, and I crossed the line, and then my wife got me to the car, and I got in the car and I did not move until we got back home.
Did you say never again?
No. So at that point, I was like, right, well, I've done 6, so let's head and do a few more. So I signed up to Beachy Head in October, and that was with people I know. And then, so I said, oh, okay, that was a bit hard.
Rich, quick thoughts on Beachy Head as a marathon.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Rob, you?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm being funny. I really like the fact that you don't have to worry about your own food because you get hot cross buns and sausage rolls halfway with tea.
that pub with the hot
So
cross
good.
buns, the sausage rolls, the coffee is
Yeah.
the main reason.
Where is that? Is it like 16 or 20ish
About
miles?
Yeah,
16
it's
miles,
just
yeah.
yeah,
For
it's
all the
just before
climbs.
you hit the sisters.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just find Beachy. A lot of people on the circuit they say, "Oh, you know, it's the best trail marathon out there." I'm inclined to agree, almost.
Yeah,
As one of the
yeah.
big ticket ones, anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
ticket, yeah,
So
because I did Hampshire Hop It, which is over my way, and that's pretty nice as well. A lot of the trail ones I do are quite nice. But since I hit Phoenix, I don't do them as much anymore because Phoenix is just easy and convenient to get your numbers up, and
mhm.
that's what it became in the end, just getting numbers up rather than enjoying. I mean, I still enjoy it, so I still do it.
So
But
when did that become a thing then, Rich? When did getting these numbers in become a thing?
I think when I hit number 9, the dirty running one,
Is that because you wanted to get, sorry, Rich, to like 100 or
I
some
want
other
to,
arbitrary
yeah.
number or?
So I went to, because the 100 Marathon Club, I never really heard of. I mean, you obviously see them around sometimes. There's not so
Yeah.
many people in some of the events I've done,
Yeah.
like Brighton Marathon, Southampton Marathon. You don't see that many of them. But Dirty Running Marathon at Phoenix, there's loads of them there because that's obviously a numbers one, right? So you go there, you can get your marathon. That's another one ticked off. And I was like, oh, that looks fun.
That looks
I mean,
stupid.
this is my ninth marathon. I can get to 100. It's only 81 to go, so
You got a PB as well then. Tell us
91.
the
Yeah,
time.
I did. It was 4:27, I believe. So,
Really nice. Better than mine.
mate,
Well, that was 2018,
I,
son. He got better in. Hang on, that's Feb. You got a better one at Loch Ness.
I
Loch
did at
Ness
Loch Ness.
Marathon.
Yeah, man. That. Do you know
I'm
what?
jealous.
Loch
I
Ness
want to do that
Marathon
one.
is my favourite one of all time, and I've done
Really?
London.
Oh,
And
we'd have got to that later. So hold
yeah,
that
sorry,
thought,
sorry,
Rich.
yeah. Scrap that off. Scrap that off.
But there's two other things you did around that time, Rich. I want to just mention that you actually did before it was cool. Your first virtual marathon was in Feb 2018.
It is,
Tw-
yeah.
What?
Go on, tell us about this.
What?
What on
I know.
earth did you
I know.
do?
So, where I live in Aldershot, there is a park right next to my house called Manor Park, and one lap of it is 1 kilometre. And I decided, as part of the Alzheimer's thing, to raise money, to do 42 laps and a bit to raise money, but also I called it the Manor Park Marathon. So I invited people to come along and run laps with me. They could do 1, they could do 2, they could do 5, they could do 10. My wife set up a gazebo in the park with like
Yeah.
homemade cakes and whatnot,
Blimey.
coffees, teas.
You'll be a race director next.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, can you come and work for us? Like,
Yeah,
can you
man.
work for us? No, I didn't mean it like that. Can you come and join the
God,
club? Can you
Who
come?
do you think we are?
Yeah. Can you try and sort this out, please, Rich?
Now, how many people rocked up, Rich?
So for the first one, I had about 10 people. And you know, I always had company on every lap, so I wasn't ever alone.
Awesome.
I think that's probably why I got sub 5 because I enjoyed it. I had different company each time, and I mean the park is beautiful anyway. So I got to see it 42 times, but
Got to be careful who's listening because they're going to come and set up an event there.
Yeah.
It'll suit you, won't it? Right outside the door.
that
Blimey.
would be me. I wouldn't have to go anywhere, would I?
Just for the sake of it, like it just caught my eye because as soon as Si knows about this, but as soon as it wasn't for a medal or anything, but as soon as the first Corona lockdown hit, I went out, I think, as part of my 52, and I did what is literally a 1.1 kilometer loop of a field behind my house, and I just like, yeah, totally get it. I love it. It's the same mindset.
It is. It is.
If you don't mind me saying, we're both broken.
God,
Yeah, we
no,
are.
all of us are broken. I've done it. I mean, I'm on week. I think I'm on week 7 or 8 now, where I'm just running a marathon a week, like you, Rich.
Yeah.
But
Up
some
and
of
down a runway, wasn't
some
it,
of them have been so broken, mate. Some of them have been like laps of a runway and laps of a cul-de-sac. And
Well, that's what we're going to get to in one of mine. That when Corona hit, I ended up doing laps around my estate. We're going to get to that in a bit, I guess. But,
Oh.
because
Oh.
you know, back
I mean,
in
Rich-
2016 to 2019, events were on. I was enjoying running more and more, and I was getting more into the marathons. So when Corona hit later, I tried to keep the motivation up, but eventually it started waning off, as it would, right? Because
yeah.
as much as I've been so used to running events and running with people in events that suddenly when they're all gone and you're just having to run these marathons and stuff on your own.
Well, I think the last one before Corona came in, the very last event I think on any race calendar was the Phoenix Track, right? So
yes,
this was I'm trying to remember now. So this was 13 hours. We had 13 hours.
It was 6 + 6 plus the one in the between. Yeah.
So there was a 6-hour event in the morning, and then there was a 6-hour event in the afternoon. But for the special nutcases,
needs.
There was an hour between both races where you just stay on that track. So you had 13 hours, and I actually think all three of us were in that, weren't we?
We were,
I was in the shower. I was in the shower with Rich. I remember now.
There were only 13 people did all of the silly stuff, and then in the middle, it was really surreal when everyone disappeared. It was just the 13 of us going round, and suddenly the track's just empty. But you got to keep plodding on.
I loved that.
Then they changed us around as well, didn't they?
It was brilliant because it was like a nice send off, wasn't it?
So there was but Rob, we didn't know that this was going to be a send off.
No, it was all that was being talked about on the day, Simon. You were just running and not talking to anyone. I specifically had a conversation with Rich and several other people. For a bit. You just going, need to win the toilet roll. Run faster.
Well, hang on, I ran the toilet roll in the first 2 minutes. So that's not...
Rich and I tried to catch you on later laps. I think we both did our fast lap after like 20 miles.
But I mean, I love this day. So let's just put it into context. I mean, it was March last year. It was actually reasonable weather, wasn't it? The whole day through, I seem to remember. Sun was shining, and all us three were doing was running 400 meters round and round and round and round. Why, Rich? Why did you do that?
Because I hadn't done it before. Well, I had done it before. I'd done a 50k around the track before, and I hated it enough to want to do it again, but a longer distance this time around.
I mean,
so how much did you get up to on the day, Rich? Did you hit 50 miles?
I hit 50 miles, yeah, and it was a
Good
PB.
Boy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you remember? Do you remember what was going through your head? Why you were there? Any time you wanted to give up? I just want to get an inkling for maybe people that haven't done this, and why the hell do you do this?
So, the whole theme of this probably today, this whole podcast with me is the whole source of my running is I've always liked to challenge myself to do something I've never done before, to see if I can do it. And if I can't do it, then I'll know I can't do it. But I don't know I can't do it until I've done it, if that makes sense. I did a track awards back in 2019. I did 50k around the track, and it was a couple of days after that, I think they were starting to announce the next one, which would have been the 2021 that we did. And I thought, I wonder what it'd be like to do 50 miles around the track. That's about 200 laps. I reckon I could do it. I'll give it a go.
It just sounds mental, though, doesn't it?
It does.
200. So you're just going to go, and we all took a day off work. I'm assuming your Monday to Friday night.
Yeah.
So we took a day off work to go and run around an athletics track. It's not glamorous. There's no stadium. There's no one watching.
You literally see the same things over and over again. But I'm used to loops. I mean, I like to do the marathon around my park. So
it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, Rich. It's not an excuse.
You got the mindset. That's good though for all the longer stuff. You've like by conquering all these various obstacles, and I know you like your obstacle races too. You've like totally equipped yourself for some of the gnarly shit you've put yourself in.
I don't want to move on yet. I don't want to move on though.
No. I'm jumping back a sec. So Rich, like back in 2018 though, you took on a race that I actually DNF'd a little bit before Corona, the Chester Ultra. So you stepped up just after you kind of got a taste for it, seen all the 100 vests and thought, yeah, maybe. You decide to throw yourself a month later out a 50 miler. Like what was that? Was that just to see if I can?
It was, yeah, and also because like back in, was it 2015, my first half, 16, first marathon, I thought, where can I go from that? I'll sign up to an ultra. And the people, it was always that massive debate of how far is an ultra, 50k? Do you count that?
What's your opinion, ultra? Rich? How far is I'm not going to say the dictionary definition. Okay, anything over a marathon. The 100 club definition, anything over 27 or something, whatever it is, 28. Mm-hmm. What is your definition of what is an ultra marathon?
I would say 42.3k, but I would say 50. I think
50k
50
minimum.
is, yeah. I think anything. I mean, you technically, yes, you're over a marathon. It's an ultra if you do 45k, 46k, but really you'd want to be aiming for 50. I mean, it's only 5 extra miles. I mean,
Only
that's
five, isn't it?
nothing
Well,
too
that's
much,
nothing
right?
between
Yeah,
marathon friends, is it? I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
what's your definition, Rob, out of interest?
No, I totally agree with exactly what Rich said. I mean, there's the textbook, but I'd say 50k is probably,
Yeah,
far enough that it's
yeah.
not because you could get a bit of bonus from doing some of the lap things or not following the race line. I don't think I've ever done a marathon that's been 26.2
No, I
exactly.
haven't either.
No, no.
I mean, you literally could do the marathon, keep your watch on to go collect your bag, and then get back to the car and turn it off and say, "Oh, I've done an ultra," and you haven't really. I mean, you've obviously covered
I
distance,
like
but
that. I like that.
but
I think we're all agreed on 50k.
yeah.
50k feels fair, but
Being
then obviously you
entry,
just
being
jump 50
entry,
miles.
being
But I
Yeah.
didn't
entry.
want to do 50. I wanted to do something higher. So I wanted to almost double the marathon. Just
But yeah,
and
okay.
I
So
saw it
Rich,
up there.
so you did 50k, right? And you've said, right, I'm an ultra. Are you an ultra runner because you've run 50k?
I don't ever class myself as ultra because I prefer to do marathons. Ultras are just something. I did one. I did the Chester one just to see if I could do it, and then other ones I've done as part of challenges. Like the track wars, for example, the Pilgrim Ultras I did as part of the charity events I've been doing. But I prefer the marathon distance. I'm not really big into ultras. Oh, yeah, I did the 100k obviously over the weekend, but
Hmm.
So that's
that was for
basically a
charity
joke,
again,
Why
really. So
why the marathon distance though? I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I think marathon's my bread and butter, definitely.
yeah,
Why
I think
why for
because
you?
I get to marathon and I feel like I've done something. This sounds really bad, but anything other than that, it feels hard.
Mm.
Marathons are hard anyway, but
So sorry, are you
anything over
saying that
marathon, it's like, well,
what anything
sorry,
over a marathon is hard?
hard. Yeah, I mean, because I,
Because for
it's just,
me, a marathon is Jesus Christ. I want to stop. Job
no,
done.
it is
That's
tough.
enough.
But when I get to the end of the marathon, and I know I can get to the end of the marathon, I'm done. Anything after that, I start going into the dark zone where I'm like, do I really need to be going this far?
Yeah.
I could be going home now. I could be having my feet up, having a bath, having a
So you
cider.
get the thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. And it starts getting worse and worse as the days. So, like the double marathon I did last week, the other weekend,
Yeah.
that second marathon, I literally had to put in my music, pump up the heavy metal,
But
and
take us back to like the Phoenix track
Mhm.
where you did 50 miles.
yeah,
The desire and the ease to just stop, ring the bell, and just stop there
yeah,
is so easy. Your bag's
it
there
really,
every 400
yep.
meters. You've done your marathon. Why the hell then would you say, right, well, let's just crack on and do.
Because there were other people there, like yourself and Rob, and you're never too far away from them because it is only a 400-meter circuit, and every lap you'll be talking with someone for a couple of laps, and then you change over and talk to another person for another couple of laps. I was actually on the day doing 4 laps run, 1 lap walk for the whole thing,
I remember,
which I found that quite easy to do. I think a bit like Jeffing really. Jeffing's quite good.
Yeah.
Whereas I did Leviathan 50 miler at Phoenix, and that was really tough because I was on my own for quite a lot, and it is up and down the towpath.
Yeah, so
Bloody
that one
times.
is it's what is it? It's 5k out, 5k back.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah,
isn't
that-
it?
Yeah.
You do seven
Yeah,
reps of
that's
that,
right.
isn't it?
That's 7 reps.
Yeah.
And the thing with that one is you get to the aid station and you say, right, just go back out, and then if you need to ring the bell, come back and do it. But by the time you've gone out again, you think, oh, I can't be asked to go back now, so I might as well just go down, turn around, and come back again. So you can trick yourself not to quitting. And I don't like quitting anyway, but
What we haven't touched, Rich, you did quite a lot of half marathons. Maybe some of it, like I never saw it this way, but before I started doing marathons, I did loads of halves. That was my original fitness measure, and I've got to say, recently I've fallen a little bit back in love with that distance.
yeah.
But other than the fact of value for money and stuff, like, are you still into half marathons? You just kind of feel like if you're going to go out, you do 26.2 now, or is it still
I
all
don't
that
mind doing
in a mix?
halves for training. I always feel like if I pay for an event, I need to get my money's worth. If that
Like a
makes
lap one,
sense.
yeah,
So,
challenge event,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
So if I don't like Like the only one I'll do now, which at the moment because of Corona, is the Farnborough half. That's because it's just down the road.
Yeah.
But other ones, like if I paid for a half marathon in Manchester, like, I always feel like that's just a waste of money because I pay more money to get there to run 2 hours and then come home again. It just wouldn't seem worth it. Whereas marathons, to me, seem more worth it. You know, because it could be anywhere between 4 hours and 7 hours, so you're getting your day's worth of running. And then you get the nice feeling at the end of the achy legs and you've done it.
Lovely
No, but that's what it's
feeling.
right.
Yeah,
No,
I
it is.
understand.
It's the reward feeling. It's okay. If there's a bit of pain here, but I've worked today. I feel
Yeah,
satisfied.
the
No,
day
but how?
the day after is always the best feeling. Always the best feeling.
But I wondered if it might be like it might be seem broken logic, but some of the reason I stepped away from doing shorter distances, particularly as sort of races, if you like, is I felt the need to push myself harder. This will sound ridiculous, but a
No.
marathon to me is a bit of a social occasion now.
Yes.
This is
Yep.
my social life.
Mhm.
So I will spend time like talking to you, talking to some of the people doing halves. And if I fancy, if I feel like it, I'll go to marathon distance if I'm having a good time. If I'm not though, I'll do a half, and then I'll
Yeah.
just socialise after,
That's why I don't do park runs because you get a park run and you're expected to run fast.
Oh yeah.
And I don't run fast now. I've had speed days and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm quite happy just to get on with it now.
Okay, I'm not totally crazy, but yeah, I
No,
get
you're
it.
not.
It's the value for money thing with the laps, and if you're out for the day, be out for the day. But
Yeah.
then you could say that if you got the speed, you may as well just go and do like 50k.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not in that position at the moment, but future we'll see. We've got to talk, chaps, about the 10 in 10. I think that came up a
Yeah,
little
I was
while
thinking about that.
after, didn't there? And Rich, that's where we all met. Like I didn't even know this one before that, really. So what made you do 10 in 10 then? Was this also for Alzheimer's or?
It was for Alzheimer's, yeah. So after the 5 in 5, I obviously did little other challenges, and then I applied to do London Marathon through Alzheimer's. And I wrote my story about my grandparents, about the money I've raised, and the plan to do the London Marathon was to do a treadmill marathon in January, do the Pilgrim Ultra in the February. There was another one in March. Oh, it was the track wars in the March time, and then do the 10 in 10 followed by London Marathon. And I wrote all this to Alzheimer's and said, look, I've got all this in plan. I reckon I can raise probably £2,000. And they called me up and said, you've got the place. Just let us know what you need.
Brilliant.
And so that's where that was born from, to do
The even more stupid phase
Okay.
of your
The even
plan.
more
Yeah.
stupid
So this is
phase.
the next chapter of your spreadsheet, the stupid phase. So
Yeah.
that 10 in 10, I mean, Rob and I have sung it to death, but we all rocked up day one. I don't think I knew either of you.
We've met, Si, but I've never
Yeah,
barely exchanged a word.
No,
The odd
I
Rob
mean,
was
phrase.
always the singing guy on the tow
Yeah,
bar.
Rob was the singing guy. That was quite hilarious. But Rich, what was going through your mind day one? What was that? For me? Day one, I rocked up. I was known on the circuit then, and I was just jumping for joy, saying, "Yes, this is the best holiday ever. Let's get on with it. It's day one. Don't
I was
ever."
the same. Day one, I was like, I wasn't thinking ahead. I was thinking, right, just take this day as it is, get on with it. I think I ran it in 4:45. I think it's probably a bit too quick for the 10 in 10, but
Everyone
I
was
felt
too
good.
quick. Everyone was too quick.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
Even I was too quick on day one. Yeah.
But I felt good. I got back to the car. I drove home.
So
with
were
a
you at
medal.
home? Were you at home for this?
Yeah. Yeah, I literally live 40-minute drive away, so
Okay.
it was.
Right.
Oh,
It
still a
wasn't so
bit
bad.
risque. Still a bit risque. 40 minutes.
I know, but I did get up early to go down just in case. I think over that time, as Easter holidays were coming up, there wasn't that much traffic. So, and obviously it was over the days where people were also still working. So it was only the weekends that were a bit risky with the traffic wise.
Okay.
But yeah.
So day one felt good. How did you feel turning up to day two?
Day two was a bit stiff.
Yeah.
Soon, and I've done. I don't know. I don't know if I did. I must have done back-to-back ones by then. But day two, as soon as you start off, you're a bit stiff. But about 5K, you start loosening up a bit.
Yeah.
And then because already on day 2, you already start making the relationships with the guys that were there doing the 10 in 10,
Yeah.
whether it was marathons or half marathons or 10Ks, whatever they were doing. Because on day 2, we were already allowed to go down to the pub rather than having to get our numbers all the time. We were already down there waiting for other people to come
Yeah,
down. So
some
we
of
were
you
already
were. Some
bonding.
of you were. I've totally missed out on this. Yeah.
Oh.
I was turning up late usually, but Richard, I don't think I spoke to you for several days of it, but I can remember like as part of the camaraderie. I just remember every time I went past you, I got like an air fist bump, like a punching of the air, and I just started doing it back, and that was then our thing.
Yeah.
Like 10 days, like 100 and whatever laps, and then we started
Oh,
talking
yeah.
on like day 6 or 7. What's your name?
What's your name?
Finally.
What's your
Get to
name?
know
Where'd
who
you come
you
from?
are.
Why are you broken?
Oh, did okay, so that, day 2 the majority went down to the pub, everyone started chatting at the start.
Yeah.
Day 3, how do you feel day 3?
Still a bit sore. Day 3, I was still all right though, because like day 2, I managed to 4 hours 48, I think, and then day 3, I did 4:50-ish. So I was like, oh, I'm going to see if I can get these all under 5 hours now, because
Yeah.
I've done the first 3, and I'm like, I'm all right with this. Day 4 came along, and I was on the 7th lap, and my thigh started twinging, and I knew there was something wrong with one of my thigh muscles. So I'd slowed down. I managed to come under, I think I was like 4:55 for day 4. And when I woke up day 5, my thigh had torn up. And I was able to run a bit for day 5, but I was then to do more walking. So like day 5 then ended up taking about 5.5 hours. And I was like, well, there's my sub 5s all gone. And then day 6 came along, and then it was both thighs. And it got to a point now from day 6 onwards. So day 6 was actually my worst day, and that was the day I almost tapped out. I almost went. I know. I got to the half marathon, where it'd all become a walk by then, and I had my hand on that bell, ready to give up. And there were 2 guys. There was Brett and I forget her name now. It'll come back to me at some point. But there was Brett and the person he normally runs with. They both said to me, "Come on, let's go and walk the 5th lap." And they walked me for the 5th lap.
Yeah, and you can't ding out at 6, can you?
No, exactly. Well, so I almost did again, but then I think Brett came out with me for the 6th one, and then I had Jonathan White for the 7th one. And by the time you get to 7, you're like, well, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going. Yeah. So like day 6, I finished 6.5 hours. And it was at that point I thought, well, I've got day 7, 8, 9, 10 to go. In my head, I had to say, right, I'm going to be out for 6 hours now. So I'm going to be out. I'm going to be doing this for 6 hours. Just put that in my head. Get time out of my head. There's no more sub 5s. Because what was happening is I could run half marathon, but by that time I couldn't bend my legs any more than 45 degrees. So it became a half marathon walk at the end. And that was the last 4 days like that. So I was doing 6:15, 6:20 for the last couple of days. Day 10, I just wanted the bloody thing to be over, and I managed to scrape in a 5:30 just by running through the pain of these swollen thighs. I had a sports massage therapist massage my legs at the end of day 6.
It wasn't Vicky, was it? Vicky?
No.
So I remember, right? So my day 5, I'd booked in this massage, right?
You did, yeah.
And there was
Vicky there.
Yeah.
Vicky Burr, yeah.
Not like you're cheap, aren't you?
I am cheap normally, but this is my holiday. It's my big holiday. There was 2 people. There was 2 people that day that came and touched my body that wasn't Vicky Burr. Do you know who they are?
Yeah, one of them was me.
Yeah. You two. You two.
Yeah.
So what is this?
I was having my lunch break, and your head was there when I was eating my malt loaf, and I thought I'd give it a little fondle.
I was like, what is this? I don't know
It's
these
only the back
people.
of your head.
They were touching me.
I've met you before. I hauled you out of the seat in Samphire Hoe. I knew who you were.
Oh.
But that was the thing about that event, though, is like these people that you'd never really spoken to before, never really knew. By the time you got to day 6, day 7, they're your new best friends.
Oh, they are, definitely. You felt this was just the new world. And this is what you were doing.
And I actually forgot what life was like.
Yeah.
Because I was so used to getting up, driving down, running, driving home, ice bath, hot bath, rolling legs, and then drinking a couple of ciders to numb the pain, going to bed, waking up,
Yeah.
repeat, and you completely miss out on everything that's going around you. You know, if kids have tests or whatever your wife's doing, or what's going on in the world, or what's on the TV, what's your neighbours doing, you miss all that completely. You literally are.
It's why I'm a bit
marathon-
upset that it's not happening prior to the April, phase or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not happening the same as it was it? It's not like
Well,
gonna be the
no,
best
but
holiday.
I was going to use it as just something to zone me out from all this Corona rubbish and just have 10 days zoned out, just running.
Yeah.
But
On the kind of camaraderie bit, but Rich, so I sort of got to know you for our little fist bumping and stuff. But you were there with a couple of your OCR mates, and I know it must have been quite hard mentally to see. I think it was Sam Hedges had to stop doing marathons on day 6 or 7, and that was gutting for me because along with Kathy, whose 100th we're both going to go to soon. That's brilliant. Looking forward to that. But like we'd all become, and not being funny, Si, but those of us that sort of passed each other a bit more and yo-yoed, a bit of a band of runners, if you like. No, but we were all trying to get each other through it.
Yeah.
And it was gutting to see a few people fall quite late on. Like, I'm so glad you carried on. We probably did talk about how you were struggling and stuff, and comparing injuries and notes. And I saw you getting taped up by Sam or.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've still got the blue tape as a souvenir, but
that must have been quite tough though, mentally,
it was,
considering how hard you were having it.
Poor Sam, because for me it was my thighs, and I could still walk, but Sam's feet, she had blisters under the soles of her feet, and there was concerns of them becoming septic, so she had to pull out. She just couldn't do it anymore.
It does raise concern that sort of people who do these sort of things, 10 in 10 marathons in 10 days, we're all nutters.
We are nutters.
And to the extent
most
where
people with pain would stop.
Yeah,
but we're
like, to the extent you're not going to. I will not stop for anyone. You can put a gun to my feet or my knees or whatever, and unless you pull that trigger, I'm still going, type thing.
Yeah, I think by day 7, day 8, I knew it was going to hurt. But you get to that point, it's like, well, I can do 10 now. I know I can do it. I've only got a couple more days left, and then I've done 10 in 10.
That said,
day 6 was the 10.
That said, it's bloody ridiculous. It's so hard. Yeah. It's so hard. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Any normal person stop at 1.
Yeah. Which
like, what are you doing it for? A t-shirt? But say you've done it. Yeah. What's the answer to the question?
No.
And a wooden board.
But it brings me to my next question, Rich. So you are now planning, looking to the future now, and this is happening. This is happening. You're going to try 100 miles in one hit. When is this? This is on the 22nd of May.
22nd of May. I'll see you there, buddy.
Yeah, well, that was supposed to be last year, and that's also part of my see if I can do it. I've done the half, I did the marathon, I've done the 50, I've done the double 50k, I've done the 50 miler. Yeah. What's next? 100 miler.
Let's just double it again.
Let's just double it again. Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
You've got 3 months to go. 3 months to go.
The thing is, it's one of those things you don't think about it, but when you do think about it, suddenly the stomach goes and your head starts thinking, oh, what if? So when I was doing the double marathon a couple of weekends ago, halfway through the second marathon, the sun starts setting, and you think, God, this really hurts. And then when I finished, it was 84k I did on the first day, and I thought to myself, if this is the 100 miler, I've got to do that all again.
Yeah.
And that hit home hard, and I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
But
is that the wife, Rich? I can see the wife in the background. So she say to everyone, just say to everyone, we're doing it on Zoom or whatever this is. Is
she bringing your sarnies and your aid station down for the Viking?
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Driving you home.
Have you got a pace? Have you got a pacer, Rich? I'm not doing anything on the 22nd of May.
I haven't got a pacer when I come down.
Yeah. Don't, Rich. Don't. I'll just keep you company, mate. I'm doing it too. So. Well, you'll probably be too quick for me, but we'll find a way. We'll do some fist bumps about 32 times.
I mean, yeah, Rich. So, what are your thoughts going into this? Are you comfortable with? Have you trained for this? Do you know what you're eating? Do you know how nerdy have you got into this?
I haven't. I'm going to do exactly what I've done with the last times I've done races of this size, well, not this size, but every time I go to a race where I haven't done the distance for, and I'm just going to rock up and do it.
Rock up and do it. Rob's laughing at you. Rob's laughing at you.
I'm laughing just because you might be the only person who's put less like calculation into it than me.
The thing is, the furthest I've done, like I said, I did the 84k not last Saturday, Saturday before.
Yeah, just put it in context of kilometres. We're talking 166 kilometres.
It's about 161
kilometres.
Yeah.
Yeah, miles.
So I did just over half, and obviously that was loops. And I know the Viking one, that's 10k loops, I think.
But with other people, there's a lot of different factors.
That's the difference, I think. There's other people there. There are aid stations, but I'll have my own stuff. I have my own, like I have gels and I have shot blocks that I'll use, and I've got my own drinks.
Shot blocks, they sound serious. What are shot blocks?
Yeah.
Little jelly sweets.
Yeah, little jelly sweets. Yeah.
Okay.
But these are all for running. Like I'm not being like it might be what you like, but do you not want to eat real food when you're doing?
I try. But the problem is, I would say I probably get to about 20 miles and my stomach shuts down. It won't let me eat anything solid. And I think it's probably a bit too late now because we're obviously 2 months away from the Viking 100 that to even try and force myself to get to that point where I can. But I'm so used to just having liquids and jellies and gels that's what I'll stick to for now. Maybe
you'll lose a lot of weight. So
I mean, this is really exciting. I mean, even though I'm an outsider, I'm not even there. I'm jealous. I'm not. I'd love to be there and see all you guys do this. It's
going to be an experience, I think. I've always wanted to do one just to see. There is one in America I want to do. Well, before when Corona's all finished, called the Javelina 100.
Yes. So our friend, the late Mark Yeah, we had a guest on who did it, and 100 miles in the Nevada
Arizona desert.
Arizona.
Yeah, there's lots of fancy dress and stuff there. It sounds like it's a bit of a party, but to be fair,
amazing.
Yeah, the Viking one's going to be a bit of a party too, because I think that the atmosphere there is going to be brilliant. Because you, Rich, and several other people we know, I think, are taking on 100 for the first time. That's going to be brilliant.
We're all going to be hanging.
No, but I haven't done that many, but I've done a few hundred. I've done a couple of SVN, and the atmosphere is brilliant anyway. But this is going to be like on steroids.
Domino's pizza, hopefully. They normally do a Domino's, don't they?
See if we can in Corona world. Yeah, but if not, Rich, I've got plenty of picnic. Yeah, I'll be force feeding you ham and cheese sandwiches.
Good. That's what I like to do. I'm just looking at my spreadsheet. I've actually missed off 2 races that I've got coming up in June, the end of June, actually.
Oh dear, what are they?
I've got
200k races. Yeah, I got one over the Cotswolds and then one that's Race to the King.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Race to the King's a nice one. That's South Downs Way.
Yes.
With threshold events. Yeah.
But mate, if you're like trying to get your numbers up, I know that isn't the only aim, but you're going about it the non-easy way here, right? You're starting to go back into the exciting point-to-point mental ultras. And I'm totally for it. I love it, but it's like you ain't taking this line down, are you?
No, I think that's what I need. It's funny because before Corona hit, I was actually going to slow down on the marathons. Because financial wise, because it does cost a lot of money to do these sort of things. But I was starting to get a bit. I keep doing marathons after marathons. I just wanted to do some little distances for a bit, get my speed up. And then Corona hit, and then I kind of went, I miss marathons. I want to keep doing them.
I mean, Rich,
and it is when something's taken away from you that you miss it. So I'm definitely not going to stop marathons.
I mean, before we let you go to bed, don't know if the wife just passed you the cocoa there, but your top 3 races, sir, and they don't have to be marathon or whatever, just your top 3 event that Rich Watts would sell to the world and say these are what you want to go out and do. What's number 3?
Bottom of the line, Manchester Marathon.
Why?
Because it's flat. It was the first proper race. I say proper race. It was the first race that there was crowd all the way around, and I felt really good because of the crowd. I actually turned up to it almost. I'd been parked up. I got out the car and I heard the gun go for the race to start because we couldn't find anywhere to park quickly, and I had to run to the start line. But when I was in it, it was obviously the beginning of my 5 and 5, but I had a whale of a time, and it was beautiful. And
I love Manchester too. Yeah. Other than the 3 mile drag out past Old Trafford, where there's just a big pile of road, Otherwise, brilliant flat, quick
Yeah.
marathon. Yeah.
Okay,
Nice
so
one.
we got Manchester there at 3. What's 2?
2. I hate to plug it, but any Phoenix event, you pick
He
one.
hates to plug it.
I know, but it is like the love of my life. Ever since I found Phoenix, it's easy for me to get to the atmosphere, even for a new person that joins. It's amazing. You run up and down. You think, oh God, 8 laps for a marathon is horrible, but each lap's different, and everyone is happy. Everyone smiles. Everyone high fives. People will talk to you. Not you go to let's say Brighton Marathon. It's full of elites. People who just don't bother talking to you.
Scum of the earth, aren't they, these elites?
Oh,
It's
no, bloody
it's like
elite.
if you're going to walk, get on the pavement. That's the first comment I ever had from
Yeah.
another runner when I was walking at the start of the London Marathon.
So I would
Yeah.
recommend it.
I understand it, Rich. So yeah, they're called challenge events, aren't they? So they're 6 hour, 8 hour, whatever, and you just go out and back. Normally along the Thames.
Yeah.
The
But you
wealth,
can stop
the
wherever
wealth,
you want, though. You can do one lap.
yeah. But the wealth of experience as well there, I think, is something.
Yeah,
There's a
definitely.
lot of interesting stories to hear, that's for sure.
Yeah, you can just even like when you're signing up in the leisure centre before, obviously they had their own hub in the side building near the track. You could just sit down and the atmosphere is electric. You could hear a table next to you of someone who's run 300 marathons, or you could hear someone next to you that's never run a marathon before. And that's something you can't tell people. You have to be there and experience it. And for me, that's what got me hooked on it from day one. And that's why I always come back to Phoenix, because that is what it is.
Everyone's equal, aren't they? Not to get too like bleary-eyed about it, but everyone's an equal. It doesn't matter like what's on anyone's t-shirt. You're welcome.
Yeah, because even like the faster guys, like Simon, people who can run the 3.5 hour marathons, you see them tearing up and down the towpath, but you say, well done, they'll say well done back to you.
Oh, so embarrassed, Rich. You just reminded me. So that I remember the last time somebody was tearing up. It was probably me. I just said to I saw you and I said, "Oh fuck, give me your water."
I remember that.
And you
Really?
did. Yeah, seriously,
I
Rob.
gave him my water. And
Rich,
he ran off down the towpath and then threw it behind him on the ground.
I have
What
a strict
bastard.
policy of never giving Simon anything because he's not grateful.
Rich,
When he was on for his first free,
Rich,
I refused
you
to go
got
and get
me.
Maluka's aid.
Rich Watts got me a sub 3 that day.
Yeah.
Rich, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah.
Play the game. He's
And
not
is it-
great. He chucked it on the bloody ground.
No, I didn't. Is your mate Nigel Evans?
Nigel Evans,
Yeah.
he got it off.
So I'm pretty sure I did.
He's like, oi, waiter, pick this up and give it to me.
No, I didn't. I took it off Rich. I had a slug, and then Nigel was a tiny bit ahead of Rich, and I gave it to Nigel.
Yeah.
So everyone's your caddy. Brilliant. All right, Rich, what's number one? I'm sick of him. What's your favourite ever marathon to date, mate? What would you recommend?
Loch Ness.
I mean, that just sounds cool, regardless.
It's a strange one. Oh, you start off in Inverness, you get onto a coach early doors, they drive you to the start line, which is in the middle of nowhere. You're literally dumped on a road in the middle of all these green hills with thistles, as you'd imagine Scotland would be like. There's a big archway where the start line is, and you're hanging around, and suddenly the bagpipes are playing. These guys coming down with bagpipes start playing off, and they set you off, and you literally, the whole course is pretty much downhill, which is what, there are a couple of ups, but most of it's all downhill, which is probably why I got my PB. But you never get bored of it. The lock is quite big, and it's obviously always on your left as you run
how
past
big? Is
it.
this something that you'd think like, wow, that's quite a big pond? Or is it more
It's
like
20 miles of the marathon is the Loch Ness.
Wow.
Oh, so it's a big old pond.
It's a big old pond.
Well, they've got a big monster in it, so it's got to be big.
Somewhere in there, yeah. And there was a few little rain showers, but you didn't mind. And then you come out of there and you head back into Inverness, and you're over a bridge and back to the finish line. But the whole marathon, I think there was a couple of walk points, but it was one of the only marathons I ran a lot.
I mean, is that easy to get to and all that sort of stuff? I mean, obviously for us boys down here in Surrey, Essex, Kent, whatever, That's a flight
It
or a
depends on how
car
you
drive,
want
right?
to do it. So what we did, because my wife obviously does the powerlifting, and she has a couple of friends up in Glasgow in a gym there. So we drove to Glasgow on the Friday. She then trained with her mates on the Saturday morning in Glasgow, and then from Glasgow we drove to Inverness, which is like the same distance as driving from down here in Surrey to Glasgow. Scotland's a massive place. And then on the Sunday go and do the run, which takes 6 hours to Glasgow, then probably another 5 hours to Inverness, about 11 hours.
Jesus.
Which is quite, it's. I would recommend probably flying there, but we just wanted to make a road trip because as soon as you get into Scotland and you're driving through Scotland, I tell you, it's such a beautiful country, and I would live up there if I could. I wouldn't want to because I miss everyone down here, but just driving from Glasgow to Inverness is so scenic. I'm like, oh, I could run that. Oh, I could run that. Oh, I could run that. But
Yeah.
I can't. Trouble is,
Time
words
and
to
plans.
describe it. You have to see it. It's really hard to describe something so beautiful.
I think that means we need to get out the
That means we
southeast.
got to
right?
do it. Yeah.
Go and do.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
I'd like to do it. I was going to ask if you have, but it sounds like not. So, Rich, we'll all go up there one time when we're allowed.
Oh,
Road
definitely,
trip.
definitely. I definitely want to do it again. It is my all-time favorite, and I would recommend it to anyone.
Awesome. I'd love to do it.
Well, Rich, listen, bud. At the very best tier on this Viking 100.
Thank you, mate.
I'll look after it.
I'd be more than willing to come up and do the pacer challenge for a bit. I'd love to do that and see all you
You
guys.
just want
there.
someone to ask him.
Yeah.
Can't get a date to the 100.
Can't get a date to the 100 miler.
It'd be good
Oh,
to see you.
yeah.
Such a long.
Well, yeah, because that's your next one back, right?
No, you're doing a couple
Kathy's one.
scenes. Yeah,
100.
I'll be there. So I'm seeing Simon on the Saturday, and I'll see you on the Sunday, Rich, doing the Kathy's Stargate 100.
Yeah, nice.
Good times. Looking forward to it, buddy. Be good to see you.
Oh, it'd be good.
Yeah, Rich, look, thanks
Exactly.
for coming on, mate, giving up your time.
Thanks for inviting me on here. I don't feel worthy, to be fair.
Why?
Don't be silly, mate.
Why,
Silly
mate?
stuff you've done. You
A
fit
normal
right in.
person running stupid things. It's strange because like I talk to you guys and I say I'm doing 10 in 10 or I've done all these marathons, and to you guys it's like it's not you're not phased because you've done them. But I go to work and I say, oh, I've just done a 10 in 10 marathon.
Yeah, do they not tell you to shut the
look
fuck
at
up?
me as if I need. Yeah, exactly. Or,
They're
or I
like,
need to
sorry,
be
what? You
institutionalised.
okay? Are you well?
You okay, hun?
Bored of you, mate. You did one last weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
When's the
they're
next
just,
one?
they're
Saturday,
just
is it?
getting their head round the 52 and 52. Yeah. Yeah. So my next one is Saturday. Another around older shot one. Number 8 for the year.
Good boy.
Excellent.
Good boy. You got any
Yeah.
company, Rich? I might come with you. Oh.
I've got my 2 lady friends coming with me for the first 14 miles.
Tell
And
you
then
what, before you bugger off, you must live near the Basingstoke Canal.
I do. Yeah.
Any good?
Like
because I
5
tried
minutes.
13 miles of that from where it meets the River Way, and I think
Yeah.
I got to about Farnborough, and then I turned around. I'm going to do the whole of that mofo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let me know. Because I am literally 5 minutes away from it.
What? From which bit?
From, well, say Farnborough Aldershot way. So, because it comes through Aldershot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're about mile 16, 17, if coming from the east. Good to know, isn't it?
And one more thing before you go, Rich. If
Yes, mate.
I find out you've given him Lucasade or anything to eat, I'm going to trip you up on the 100 miler. You dare let him use you, son.
I won't.
You're better than that, mate.
I promise.
Oh,
You've got it
right.
on the podcast. I promise.
Well, go and enjoy your cocoa, buddy.
Yeah.
It's been
Cheers,
great talking
guys.
to you. One
Thanks,
of my
guys.
heroes, all right?
Yay,
Lovely.
see you soon,
See you
guys.
soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.